What's up? You are now listening to Americanized, a storytelling podcast where you will hear from eclectic first and second generation Americans share their stories and real life experiences as children of immigrants. Welcome back to Americanized. I'm your host, Roslyn, and in this episode, Michaell and I continue our conversation. As a creativity-awareness educator, Michaell shares his perspective on increasing human-centric awareness through our inherent superpowers of creativity, healthy dialogue, and adaptability. Stay tuned to hear more. Okay, so we were talking about awareness, and I'm noticing that in the media there's more awareness on neurodiversity. What's your experience like with that?
So my experience is they say neurodiversity, everybody says it, because the system stress, I think it's a symptom of the system stress, of the outdated system. The outdated systems force people to adapt, and that's extremely stressful. So if I'm, let's say, a blacksmith, I'm just making it very simple. I'm a blacksmith. I was always happy. I was drawn to the fire. I always was drawn to the hoofs of horses. And that's what I was, right? Now the system gets updated, gets renewed. Somebody takes over, puts me a computer in my blacksmithing, asks deadline, when is that finished, make everything systemic. I had everything done before. Now everything is systemic with deadlines and whatever. And so it's stressier. So if I had before a neurodiversity, I wasn't hardly felt. But now with the digitalization of our lives, which is very important to understand and be aware of, we are naturally human-centric with nature. We are part of nature. Then we created, especially after the Second World War, systems, trains, industry, blah, 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 all various systems. There was no internet yet. And I experienced that, I experienced the whole thing. So now we have the digital world, and the digital world is the farthest away from human centricity, because in the digital world, I can cancel you, I can attack you, I can make you a superstar, I can pump you up, I can give you engagement, whatever. In the system, I couldn't do that. If I go without the internet and say, okay, Roslyn, I'm deleting you, I'm canceling, you're laughing at me, right?
Yeah, it doesn't translate.
It's not possible. It's not possible, but possible, in the digital world, it is. In the digital world, I can just make stuff up. I said, I have millions of viewers, and that doesn't mean anything, because it's you don't even know them. When I have 1 million followers and I lose 20, I don't care. When you lose 20 friends, you care very much.
Yeah.
You worry very much, and your awareness goes up, because you say, hey, I have 5 friends that left me. That is major, or my customers. I've in a grocery store, you have 5 customers you don't see anymore. That's major. Not in the thing. It's not human-centric anymore. It's just a total linear binary thing. Okay. And humans are used in that. See, in the digital, humans are used. Even in the systemic, they are used, but it's everywhere. So for example, in art, the talent is always paid less. The heads of Spotify made $365,000 a year. I think Snoop Dogg got 140 for 1 billion downloads. Snoop Dogg. So the artists are not worth more than the board of the system, the major system people. And in digital is exponentially like that. Is exponentially. So we need to be aware of that. We say, I love the digital world. Look, you and I couldn't even have that talk. But for me, I couldn't phone with you, and I couldn't text with you or email, because it's hard for me. But that's why in the digital world, the Zoom talk is the best for me. Yeah. And I said, the awareness is crazy, and nobody asked the question. I'm invited with the AI people. that actually consulted the Senate. And I'm asking questions, nobody can answer me. I said, what is AI doing for me? What is for me, my individuality? I'm not caring what it does for you or thing. I want to know what it will do for me, not to make me other than a better worker bee. Because this is what the computer did. When I bought the first computer, they said, oh, what are you going to do with all your time? And you're going to make so much money. I have less time and less money.
Exactly.
Because, so you just become a better worker bee. And AI could really sort out and help us to find our one-of-oneness, right? It can also help us to integrate that one-of-oneness in systems. It can help update systems. Nobody talks about it. Have you ever heard something that does it for you? It says, no, it can give you a digital assistance and it will take over and whatever. Nobody says about this. Everybody wants to sell you something, and already you hear it all over. It's a big hype, like NFTs were a big hype, right? NFTs was basically an advertising to use crypto. It was an advertising for using crypto. And what they took the artists. And the artists will all of a sudden have false hope and say, oh, finally I get rich with my art. And 2 artists got rich. And the system always shows you the viral video. If you had a viral video, they show you, oh, she is a viral video. Look at her, blah, 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 blah. But you don't get money for that. You get money for the second one because the viral video makes you eligible for running advertising. And you know how hard it is to have a viral video. That's why I'm saying when you create it and it becomes a commodity, then it's the luck. Because you can do the best t-shirts and they don't sell.
Exactly.
And then you can do the worst t-shirts, they sell. So it doesn't matter. It's not and also you have a great thing of creating a t-shirt that sells crazy. And the next thing you put out doesn't sell. Look at fashion. It's always the icing on the cake. So you better have fun co-creating with other people and be fulfilled in creating this and really enjoy. I always say lean into the creation, really milk the creation as much as whatever you do. You're creating a paper, but milk it, get as much out of it. And then because that other humans sense that you have fun doing it. And it's the highest form that it's not a guarantee that you can actually be picked up and be at least successful enough that you can pay your own way.
Right. That does, I guess, kind of answers the question that came up as you were talking. Like, what is your greatest piece of advice for artists?
For artists,
who are hoping to
milk the creation.
The creation.
Because it's you, and totally enjoy the magic that happens and really focus on that versus the outcome. Versus the outcome. It's not about the outcome. Nothing is about the outcome. If you're working, hey, we need to get those products out today. So you're working and do package 10 items. Now they're expecting to do 120 items next time. So I'm not saying, okay, Roslyn, you do 10 items you pack. Just keep your 10 items. You're fine doing. Nobody ever would say that. But that's what's supposed to be, because you're doing a real good job packing those items and they're not breaking and they're saving that you don't need to pay insurance and all that stuff. No, they say you did 10, let's do 12.
Always pushing you to do more.
Because it's the collective feeling of no matter what we do, it's never enough. And when you feel that and I feel that, then we confirm it subconsciously with us. That's why when you need $2,000 to survive, and when you go to Elon Musk, he needs 400 million to survive every month. He doesn't suffer less, he suffers more. The leaders suffer more. They believe I can never go back to be a normal person. And we believe we want to be up there. And by that, we all pay homage to it's never enough, no matter what. So the awareness, that's why I'm spreading. I'm an awareness bomb everywhere. Because I trust that humans all over the world will take that awareness and give their little spice to it and make it better and make it wider. And that's how we shift the whole the whole humanity. It's not us against the systems. It's we are the creators of systems. We update them and make them work for all of us. There's win-win-win. There's nothing else.
So you came up with 3 inherent human superpowers, speaking of awareness, that we should all be aware of. Creativity, healthy dialogue, and adaptability.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Creativity, we talked, it's an expression, a personal expression. And in that expressing yourself, you learn about your uniqueness. You learn where you're good at. So if I started learning guitar, right? At my time in Europe, it was you had to first learn classical guitar to move on to electric guitar. That was also totally system. It has nothing to do with anything, right? It's an expression. Because dyslexia, dysgraphia, as you know, I had a hard time playing left, right, and the guitar. So I gave up after 2 years. I gave up. I never give up on anything, but I gave up on this because I couldn't. It was too hard and had no growth in it. I had no feedback. So what I did was I was at a party, and they said, "Hey, Michaell, you're good in rhythm. We hear you clapping to the songs and everything. You're good, and you have a good sense of rhythm. Just play the percussionist was sick. Can you play the percussion?" I played the percussion like I've never played percussion. The bongos, the timbales, the thing. I played it, and I was like, totally in. That was totally me. So I advocate when I teach my people the art. I said, try everything out and see where's the easiest, and you can express yourself. And I did a CD. I was invited to play with people and everything.
It's amazing.
And with guitar, I couldn't do anything. But I had to get that awareness. And now I'm teaching that awareness. I say, try everything out. If you think you need to be a singer, try out singing, but also try out something else, and try different, try folk song, whatever resonates with you and what's the easiest for you. So that was that. I don't know where we come from. What was the question?
We're talking about the human superpowers.
Oh, superpowers. Okay,
so creativity is
art creation is the one. And everybody's an artist. Nobody's not an artist because it's your expression and it can be judged. Art is the only thing. Art. What does art ask? And you feel that. And I say, art inspires you, and it just wants to be created. It does, and exposed. It needs to be created and exposed. Okay, healthy dialogue is exactly what we experienced here. It's the dance with each other to get a new perspective. I talk a lot about art and stuff. I've never had a conversation that we have. And also, if you didn't tape this and something went wrong, we would say we couldn't repeat it. Even if we would talk the same question, we couldn't repeat it. It's a one-of-one, two one-of-one. That's why it's so precious. That's what podcasting teaches us. It is so precious having not a systemic talk where I'm a Republican, you're a Democrat, whatever. It's not either or, it's not binary. So dialogue, we actually are exemplary for having human-centric dialogue. Most podcasters are, because they're not worrying, they're talking truly with each other, they dance with each other, which is different than news. News is a total system-relevant dialogue. That's why less and less people can't relate to it, because there's a team of 10 people creating the news to manipulate people to hang on and listen to the most so they can pay for the advertising.
Yes, yep, exactly.
Yeah.
That's wild stuff.
The human dialogue, not the system dialogue, is the second superpower, because look alone how much aware you and I became here.
Yes, yeah.
And so the adaptation is the third superpower. The adaptation is a survival superpower. Because nature made us all one-on-one, we have the ability, every human, to adapt. The people that can't adapt are system distorted. Usually every animal can adapt. It doesn't matter if it's a cat or it's always adapting to its one-on-oneness. So when we have the same thing, But when we can't adapt, when we mentally get out or whatever, then we are system disturbed, either eating the wrong food, don't have sleep. For example, the third important stuff is, first you need air to survive, water, yeah. And the third one is sleep. If you don't have enough sleep, it's more important. 11 days without sleep, you can survive 11 days, but you can almost a month without food. So sleep is more important than the thing. Another awareness that people are not aware of. So that's why a home is so important, right? That you have at least a room.
Right.
And that's why it's essential to have every human have at least a room and some food. That is the most important, because otherwise you take his life away.
Yes, right.
And the system take a lot of lives away. I'm sorry.
They do.
Because they're outdated. Not that they're bad. Systems are great. See, it's like, I think they're just outdated because they're not aware, the spirit of the system is not aware that humans need sleep and they need to have a quiet room. You know?
Absolutely. And I want to repeat what you said just because I feel like we were anti-system, but systems are good. They're just
Very
outdated.
good. It's our art. Yeah, and because they should be our collective artwork. And when the leaders of systems, and this is all in the context of it's never enough no matter what we do, take advantage of and shuffle the money in the pockets, or saving money, to have money for themselves, because they need more than $2,000. We said that, yeah, they need $400,000 a month.
Yep.
So they do, when you are in fight flight and you need $400,000 a month, you don't care about other humans. Your whole DNA functions as, I need to survive. Because the moment you go into fight flight, you have no rational thinking. I know it from me.
Yeah.
You have to fight flight, and the DNA takes over, and it makes you violent. It makes you all kinds of things.
I'm learning a lot right now and shifting my mindset and kind of like fitting into how you're perceiving everything.
These people should think about art right now. The worse it is, the bad is art. Art is the most effective in really bad situations, in stress, in the election coming and all that stuff. Nobody cares. Everybody wants to just hold on to everything and not spend anything.
Yeah, and that's absolutely right. To support
and
artists,
when it's
especially.
good, when you don't need art, when everybody is thinking you have all the food and everything else, nobody needs art. But in the crisis, that's when you really need art, and need to create art, because you say, oh, the world is not so bad, because
Yeah, I like that take for sure. That's so much to digest, and this is really good information. I'm really thankful for having the opportunity to talk with you today. But I do want to ask you this final question that I ask all my guests at the end of the show is, what is your one message to the listeners?
You're worthy by nature because you are one of one. You cannot be human-centrically not worthy. It's impossible, because you exist. Non-exist. See, the system says non-existence. It says this guy is more valuable than you in the system, never in nature, because you can't be non-existence if God or nature gave you life as a one of one. You are exist, and you cannot be not important. You must be important, because nature doesn't make any mistakes.
I love that so much. And that is just so powerful, especially for, the millions of people who are struggling with self-worth. And that branches off into so many different, like mental illness. So just hearing, you are worthy because you are one of one.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
a beautiful
And
message.
you know what? We will change it. We will change it, because this message is, if I had pushback on this message, I have no pushback in the whole world with this message, because what is our essence is the human centricity. We just got conditioned that we shouldn't. and we can update our system to make artwork, to have it beautifully, you go to a social office and you get treated and have fun, and you learn and experience and are fulfilled, and they help you, because that's why we create systems to
Yeah.
help us. Yeah.
I am looking forward to supporting this mission in any way possible, and like I'm just looking forward to a future of upgraded systems and
Yeah.
human
Yeah.
centricity.
You got the
Where
message. That's all you need to know, the awareness.
the
Rosalind, you can
awareness.
run, or you never, if you never meet me, you're get ready to run. It's the superpower of awareness.
Thank you so much. Where can people find you, support you, and hear more about
Yeah.
your mission, this work that you
MichaelM.com.
do? Okay.
MichaelM.com. There's a PayPal link. And there's my art, and there's everything there. My access to like over 500 podcasts that I did, and group discussions all over the world, and music, and writings too. I'm a lot of, I read like 70 articles on LinkedIn. So
Yeah.
I pank out all the time because I'm in flow, and I need to, for my mental health, I need to express myself. So
Awesome. MichaelM.com.
Michael with two L's.
Yes, two
Michael M.
L's.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. It's been a pleasure, Michael. I'm super
Awesome.
grateful. And
Yeah.
for this awareness. I'll just leave it at that. I have more awareness, and I love that so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening. I hope to catch you in the next episode. All original music produced by Stubborn Saul. Be sure to find him on all music listening platforms at STBRNSAL.